Welcome to the Nag's Head. I'm Mark Knight and I'm joined by three guys that really need no introduction, but I'll let them do it anyway.
I'm Tony Romera.
I'm Steppa
and Crusy.
Thanks for joining us, chaps. Obviously got a brand new single out, super excited about that, and we wanted to dig into you guys, what you're all about, and obviously talk about the single. But let's take it right back to the beginning. It's a fairly obvious question, but how did you get into music in its broadest sense?
Well, in my case, it was an accident. Back in the days, I was in a kind of a showroom of various brands like Sony, LG, and that. And there was a particular place for Pioneer, and one of the guys came to me and my friends and told us if we wanted to see how some CDJs worked, and I fell in love with it. That's how it would start.
Amazing. Tony, yourself?
A friend of mine showed me FL Studio back in the days, and I discovered I could add instruments on instruments. I was playing guitar at the time, and then I changed everything and played electronic music, and that's how it started.
So did that come before DJing for you?
Yeah, that was kind of the same time, because at the same time another friend showed me how to work with CDJs, and then so I did both together. I started both together and focused on production then. And you?
Yeah, no, DJing came first for me. I think from hearing tapes at school, passed around by, I guess, people's big brothers who'd been to like Kinetic and Bagley's Warehouse, and you know, some of those really old Helter Skelter. It would have been like more like rave, I guess, but I was fascinated by it being continuous. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just listening to a song, I was like, how are they joining it together? You couldn't just go on YouTube back then and have a look at how people were doing it. So that was the magic for me. And then I bought a set of decks and got into it.
What was that moment you got your decks, you're practicing at home, giving out some tapes or CDs or whatever it was, you built a little bit of momentum through your own endeavour. What was the first break? What was the first gig that you did? You thought, you know what, this is a thing?
I think the first time I got abroad, I used to play hard house back in the days with another name, another project. And I remember the first time I came to, it was UK actually, the first time I went abroad, and it was to Wigan, and it was an unbelievable experience. I remember being smiling all the time. Since I got from home to around to the gig, it was great. It was something great.
Brilliant. And how about you, Will? What was the first gig? What was it? If you can remember that far back, I mean, there's been a lot of late nights since then, admittedly.
It's funny you're asking me this, because music-wise, you actually Toolroom put out my first digital release as a remix, so, and that's maybe when I thought, oh, you know what I mean, because I didn't used to sit there and think, oh, this is going to happen. It was like a dream, do you know what I mean? But I think I became resident for God's Kitchen. Remember God's in Birmingham? And one day I was in my day job, and they sent me the lineup, and James Allgate put me in every room that night, and Eric Pridge was in the main room, and then I did the nitrogen and the, I can't remember the name of the third. Yeah.
It was the big. There was
yeah.
I
shouldn't really forget the name of that room, because that was a special room for me. But yeah, I suppose getting those kind of gigs, and it's, you know, you were doing the nitrogen room, weren't you? I remember seeing you and MTV in there.
Yeah, I played with Marilla and all sorts of people in there. It was a brilliant club. Yeah, big up to James Allgate and of course Mark Gillespie back then. No. How about you, Tony? What was the moment that really kind of cemented you, or your commitment to it being a thing?
I started playing in small clubs in my city, kind of normal shows like Resident DJ.
Yeah.
And at the time, a big club in my city called Cesar Palace called me and wanted to do a headline show with me. And so I brought all my friends from college, from school and everything, and everyone came, and that was a really big night. And that's the night I was like, okay, I can do a career maybe, and I can work more to have more shows like this one, headline shows and everything. And that's how it started.
Brilliant. Now, you're all individual artists in your own right, and you all have your own signature sound. That's what makes, you get to where you've got, I guess, afforded you to get to this position. And you've come together for this record. How do you manage to balance retaining your own musical identity and yet bring that into a collaboration? How has that worked?
I think it's pretty organic in our case, because we have been friends for so long time. We share the same passion, and we have some kind of the same, same kind of jokes, the same kind of everything. So we genuinely have
I think we wanted it. It's not like a business move, or you should work with this guy.
Because we're friends.
Yeah,
we love each other.
We are sharing music all the time, and
we sent some ideas to each other, and this one came out, and we worked together on it, and it sounds great, I guess.
Yeah. Brilliant. Now, throughout my whole career in A&R, authenticity has been the driver and the thing that I've always held as sacrosanct in everything I've done. Integrity and authenticity has been paramount for everything, every record I've signed and all the moves we've made in the label. How big a deal is authenticity to you? What does that word mean to you?
For me, it's everything.
Yeah, not necessarily chasing what you think is the sound, and now doing what makes you want to play that record, making a record you want to play, not trying to chase what someone else is doing. And I think that record's got a nod towards, it's got a nod towards Daft Punk Burning, obviously, hasn't it, for me, with that sound? Yeah. I don't know if I should say that in this.
Signature. It's all about, in my opinion, it's all about making a record that you want to play, that you're super excited to play on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're doing a record that you really want to play a role in your set, whether it's opening, closing, build them out of the alphabet. You need to know what you're aiming for to be able to achieve that authenticity and at the same time being something that works.
Is that always a driver in what you do? It's very easy to get caught up on trends. So look, this is the thing at the moment.
Yeah, I think records that they're more timeless, aren't they? Because it's got it's got a groove to it, hasn't it? And it's got the power, but it's got that kind of housey, gospel vocal as well. So it just feels like it's not just going to be something you'll hear in 2 years and go, oh, that's dated. I like to think records won't sound too dated in the future. That's what matters to me, I think.
What do you think, bro?
Yeah, that's important to stick to yourself and your own tastes, and I think that's how you can make the record more stay longer in the time. And yeah, that's the most important thing, stick to yourself.
Now, if authenticity is the foundation of all the moves you make, right, within that as a parameter, what's the riskiest move you've made in your career so far that pushes the boundaries of that, of authenticity, but stays within what you stand for? What's the riskiest move you've made?
Well, in my case, I remember when I signed the first record with you, Selecta, you dropped me a message and you told me you wanted more records, and I told you, yes, I have a lot more. I didn't have any.
That's brilliant. I love that.
It was like, I better do something good,
Mate, fake it, but always fake it until you make it. I love that. How about you, Tony? What's the riskiest move you've made?
I was more into bass house stuff back in the days, and I decided switching to tech house, but because it was my roots, I was playing like tech house and house music way before bass house stuff. But I went back to it a few years ago, and I had a cool crowd on the bass house stuff, and I could possibly lose this crowd while doing another kind of stuff. And so I think that was the most risky move, but that was the best move I did in my life, because now I'm way more happier and really doing my stuff and the real stuff I love from back in the days.
Brilliant.
I think it's a similar story to that. I was out in America and I was a bit lost doing gone off on a tangent really into some different genres, and I decided to sort of call that a day and come back and just start from day one again in about 2012 and do, I think it was here, I was out in LA and I heard this record, I was like, what the hell is this? And it was Shadow Child string thing, and I was like, I need to go home and get a bit of this, you know what I mean? And all that Dusky and all that stuff was coming through, and I was like, this is exciting, and I went back to my roots with house music, which is what I started off doing, but it just got a bit lost.
We've got to do social media, this part, it's marketing, it's modern day media, modern day marketing. But in the back, we're taking an advert out. Now we are the advert consistently through continued exposure through social media. And there's a trade-off, and I guess a line in that of retaining your own sanity and your own personality, yet exposing enough of that for people to connect.
Oh, yes.
Where do you find that balance in your life? How do you make that work?
But I'm trying to show a little bit, but keep a lot of secret too. Even on how you make stuff, that a lot of people want to show how they make the new stuff they just released. But I think it's really important to keep the secret, keep the mystery, because back in the days we were hearing some great stuff and we were like, how he made this, and now we know directly how he made this, and I think that's not good. So I'm trying.
I agree with that. I find it so much of the magic's gone now because you see everything. Do
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, for instance, when I was growing up, I loved Prince, for instance, because you didn't know, it was a mystery. I didn't want to know what he had for breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Like, but now you see so much, don't you? But I think social media, for me, the consistency is the hardest. Sometimes I feel like I've got so much to post, and then another week I feel like, oh, what do I post this week? A picture of my coffee. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to be like. But yeah, you're good with that, aren't you?
I try.
Just get the R8 on there.
Oh, right. Oh, wow.
Bro,
Have you got any pictures?
No, you know, I used to post the same thing when I have like a match like a worst car. I think I've been the same all my life. Like if I had like a 5K car, even if I have like now the R8 or whatever, I think I post the same. Like I try to.
Nah, you're just happy with your achievement, man. Do you know what I mean?
What I think is really important to find the balance is post what you really love. Don't think about what the others are going to think about you. There will be people that will love you for a reason. There will be people that will hate you for the same. So post what you like. Be the same person when you have nothing or when you have everything. Be the same guy. And one thing that I particularly find really useful is to just program myself. I do 3 posts a week. No matter if I have a lot of material to post or less material to post.
Does that include the R8 or not? That excludes the R8.
Because you've used those 3 today.
Just want to get that in the small print now, so just a bit of disclaimer in there, excluding the R8. No, and is there? Do you ever feel that you're, giving too much of your soul away in terms of that? Do you feel that there's a pressure to really overexpose yourself, in terms to get that gratitude, to get that connection? Do you ever feel that, or do you feel that you get the balance? Just look, this is my personality, but I will say I don't want to show you what.
I feel like I see a lot of stuff that feels forced to me these days. Like people are feeling they're really under pressure, and people are just sort of, I don't know, some of it doesn't seem natural. So whatever I do, I want it to be whatever I'm comfortable with and me. I don't want to just try and do something just to get the likes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you post personal stuff, like really personal stuff, it gets better on the likes, views, and everything. And that's what can make pressure on some people, probably. But you have to stick to what you think is good to post or not. But that's hard to find a balance.
Now, we talked about where you came from and different sounds. You've all been involved in lots of other genres. There's been a journey to get to this point. And it's a case of amalgamating what you've done previously and incorporating to where you're at now. So this kind of recycling of what you know. Is there any genre or sound of house that doesn't need to be recycled, that has been and gone and needs to be left where it currently is, and that's not in focus? Is there anything you think that's been over recycled, done too much, and needs to be now there?
I think we could do with a new version of Show Me Love.
Let me write that. Let me write that down. Who made that?
I think it needs an Afro House edit.
I think when you've been around a bit, like us, you do it. Everything is so you're like, oh, that's been done. Did that need to be done again? But then you've got kids who've never heard a version of
Show Me Love.
Yeah. Well, it's true, though, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah.
How do you, I guess, manage your own psyche and psychology when you're constantly being measured in the context of streams and ticket sales and likes? How do you retain your own state of normality when you're constantly being evaluated in that context?
I think being with my family all the time and with my friends in my city, I never moved from my city, from my hometown. I think it was it's what makes me stay in the lane.
Sure. How about you, Will?
No, I think that's right. I think you have to, even though you kind of have to be obsessed with it to get somewhere, you need to learn to switch off and try and not care so much as well, which is a bit of a shame sometimes, but otherwise you go nuts.
I think you need to really have a good relationship with the failure. I think being able to embrace the failure and being able to fail happy That's I think that's the difference between the people that make it and the people that don't, is how you manage failure. And it's very important to be able to, okay, I failed today, fine, let's go to bed and let's go do it again tomorrow. I think that's the difference.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's right.
So touring, it's tough. I've just come back from Bangkok. It took me 2 days to get home. There are some physical and mental demands associated around touring. What's been some of the toughest moments in your career so far? What's really thought, man, am I doing this? Is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? That's really pushed you to the edge of...
I feel when I've gone somewhere and maybe the gig hasn't been amazing and I'm there on my own and I know that there's stuff going on back home and friends are doing this or whatever, and I'm thinking, sometimes I have thought, why am I here? But I guess that makes you appreciate the better parts more. Yeah, but it's I think just travelling around on your own, I don't think everyone could do it. It's quite brutal sometimes, isn't it?
It is.
Like it's not as great as some people may. Obviously, we love DJing, don't we? But when you're playing abroad a lot, it's physically and mentally grueling, I think. But then you don't want to come across like you're moaning, 'cause it's a beautiful thing to do at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
How about you, Mikhail? What's been the toughest moment? When have you thought, man, what am I doing?
How do you
No, they say, I'm exhausted.
Thanks, but when flights don't go as planned and you lose a flight that fucks your entire journey, and you need to think, you know, in the same second that you lost the flight, you need to balance the anger of having lost that and figuring out at the same time how do you book another flight to get to the place, and that 8-hour flight gets into a 21 or 27-hour journey, and you're like, wow. And as Will said, when the gig has been amazing, it's amazing, but when the gig has not been amazing, which happens, it's not as good. But you need to be thankful for what you do, because this was the dream, you know, and we're living the dream.
How about you, Tom? What's your moment that's really challenged you?
Sometimes when I'm on tour, far from my daughter, she's pretty young, so that's pretty hard to be far away. And you know, as they said, when the gig is good, that's great. But if not, that's pretty hard. And you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of great energy when you go to a show, and then when you come back at the hotel room and you're alone by yourself, it's kind of sad sometimes. And then having to go back home, like after, let's say, 4 shows in the same week, each on one day, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then go back home, you're so tired and everything. So it's kind of the hardest moment, I guess. But I'm so grateful to have been able doing this, because I always dreamt about this. So
Brilliant.
that's another big problem.
Do you think social media and what we do and what we portray in our own profiles, do we, as an industry, do enough to support that? You know, I think you're totally right. I think balance is the key. I think the key to winning is balance. But do you think the perception of what we do is rightfully represented? Do you know what I mean? It seems to be going on social media, and if you're not playing, you got that right crowd shot, or you're not in the glossy context. Do you think we have a responsibility within the community that we are as producers and with the electronic music to portray that more authentically, that look, this is I am as a person, you know? And it's okay.
It's hard because everyone's trying to show, it's not really real, is it? Because you're only showing the best bits. But does anyone want to see you looking depressed in a hotel room?
But do you think we should show more sides of that?
I do. I think people are bored of seeing all the DJ stuff now, aren't they? It's not turning out your heads anymore, is it? Just you playing in front of a big crowd.
Yeah, I think that's why every time I can, I bring my dad with me on tour. Those are the moments that stay with you. Or I show what I do in my day life. I show when I try to inspire people, explaining how I got to the point I am now, where it's a lot or less, but I've tried to be the same since I didn't have anything. And every time I post something or I do something with my dad, with my family, with my cars, whatever, is to make people understand that it was not an overnight success. It has been like 14 fucking years to arrive to the point where you can get those things. And you're like, guys, keep in mind that it has been 9 years for the last 4 ones to come. That's my approach to that point. Or look, my dad used to come with me to a shitty place when I was 16 till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch me play. and now I'm bringing him on tour all over the world. Those are the things to show the journey more than the thing you got.
Cool, but it's always hard to post on the bad side because people want to see some smiley things, I would say, not sad things on socials. So that's why it's pretty hard, but we should to for the people to understand more.
Do you think we should all have a page for shit gigs? I could only post shit gigs on there. I would like, that would be a really interesting concept, wouldn't it?
Let's do it.
If we all had a page where you could only post your shit gig, 3 people in tonight. Hashtag having it.
There's a lot of pressure though with this whole sold out. Like, as a DJ, you just really want to put sold out, but it's like, I remember like when I was younger, I've got amazing memories from parties that I went to as a punter that definitely were no.
Count the amount of tickets sold. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember going to see, for instance, Louis Vega when I was about 20, and I had the time of my life, and I was looking up at Louis going, this is amazing, and it wasn't full at all. Or I've been to like when I first went to Ibiza, and I've got memories of that up here, and it wasn't, you know what I mean? So this whole sold out culture of packing everyone in, I mean, don't get me wrong, if I've done it, it feels good, but there's a lot of pressure in there, like, oh, sold out. I mean, just, I don't know, it's, and that's no good for mental health, because you feel like a failure if it's not sold out, but it could still look really busy in there, but you're like, oh, it hasn't sold out, I was hoping it is. Do you know what I mean? Oh, there's 10 tickets left, so I'm disappointed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Do you remember one we had, a bad one, last summer?
Which one? A lot.
We had one together that was not really good, and we were like, I was speaking to you, I told you, what do you think? I was like, yeah, sometimes happens, and we're like, okay.
You know what, I think there's a challenge within that. Like, I did a gig in Koh Samui that wasn't busy on the weekend. And listen, it's very easy to play to 5,000 people. Wow, because they're not going anywhere. Can you play to 30 people and make them have the time?
One wrong song.
you need a lot more skill then, because it's easier for those 30 people to go if it's not. Isn't it? I feel that's when you really got to.
100%.
Maybe that's real DJing.
That's real DJing.
That is real. That maybe. Yeah. That really is DJing, because you play one wrong record, they're going to go. You know. So it's a shame that we can't celebrate that as the art form of what DJing is about. You know, it's only sort of truly evaluated under the context of sold out, which is a real shame. And lastly, where do you feel we're at within the state of dance music right now? Is it in a good place or is it in a bad place? What's your thoughts on that, where we're at right now?
I think
Tricky question.
I think it's in the spit place right now, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes it feels a bit tired right now. And I feel it's in a place where I look at parties which a while back would have been very sort of, I don't know, cool underground, but now you see the moments from those parties that it's like a classic that goes viral. So I don't know if new music is, people turn towards stuff that's known to get that reaction, whereas I think it'd be nice if it pulled back from that and you could turn on and play anything and it was more about that. But how can you do that when someone on the lineup's playing, you know, bigger records? So it needs to be a collective really, where we don't have a new remix of Show Me Love.
I've written that down. I'll scrub it. No, leave it. I'll scrub it.
No, I actually love that record. I won't lie. Do you know what I mean?
The remixes.
How about you, Tony? Are you happy with the state of the industry and the scene at the moment? The culture, is it in a good place? What's your thoughts?
I think that's pretty great because we are kind of like, everyone knows about house music and it's not as underground as before, but at the same time maybe it's too much and it should get back to more underground places, because when it's too mainstream it's open to everyone, and even to some bad people or some people with bad intention and everything. The thing is, I think we should need some more parties with no phone policy and everything to get back to the underground, the real stuff we love from back in the days. And yeah, I think that would be the next thing.
How about you, Mikhail? Good or bad?
I like the exposure we have now because more people know about music. What I don't like is the fakeness that is on certain parts of the scene. For example, one thing I don't really like, and I think is getting more popular, is the products. And when I say the products, is there's nothing wrong with marketing someone to achieve something, and there's something behind it, if there's a genuine talent, if there's something. But what I don't like, and I'm seeing it more and more in the scene, is having a good looking guy or girl, put him or her there, make music for him or her, and it's fine, and confetti. I don't really agree with that. I think we're losing a little bit the original thing, the essence of the thing. So it's pretty fine that you market and you push on socials someone, but where it needs to be done with someone that has a genuine talent and not something that is just
manufactured, wasn't it?
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word.
I think that's always been a thing in music. So there's always been some artists, before DJing, when it was more manufactured, wasn't it? But yeah, I agree. Yeah, it seems like sometimes people look at DJ and they're like, "Oh, it's an easy way to earn money." I mean, do some people get into it because they want to be on the stage and they want that lifestyle? But really, it was always about just doing it because you're obsessed with music, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you were that person that would be like, "Oh, have you heard this record?" It was never about having your name in lights when I wanted to do it. It was just because I loved music so much. I wanted to show people music. Does that make sense?
I think music is the only art, or one of the only ones, where, for example, if you see an athlete, he or she is there because he or she deserves it. You cannot fake 100 goals in a season. You cannot fake that. You know what I mean? But you can fake a good DJ. You can fake a good producer. You can fake a good singer nowadays. So music in these days is the most fakeable of the arts, because the other ones are not fakeable. You cannot say Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, hasn't scored 100 goals a year, because he has done it. He's right there, You cannot put auto-tune, or you cannot put anything to help do it. Whereas in music, you can do it. And that's the only thing I don't like these days about it.
Thanks very much for joining us, guys. I think that was really nice to kind of obviously talk about your own.
Thank you.
And obviously got a brand new single out now, which is called
Watch Out.
Watch Out.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can check it out.
And it's available to download and stream where?
It's all on records. And here we go.
Brilliant.